Well, hello folks. Today we're going to look at rational exponents. Basically, those are exponents, like this 1/2 right here, that are basically a fraction. So 9 to the power of 1/2. If you were to put this on your calculator, and let's see, I'll do it right here. If you were to type in 9 to the power of 1/2, I'm going to put 0.5 just because it's easier to type in. You get 3 as an answer. It's kind of strange, hey? The other funny thing is that the square root of 9, so 9 square root is also 3. It's a way of hinting to you that a rational exponent is actually, it ends up being something that is done with a radical sign. A radical sign is this thing right here, okay? And if you see a 1/2 as an exponent, the 2, I often say it slides out in front right here. And then the 1, you have a choice of either putting the 1, the 9 goes here. You have the choice of putting it here, or you could, let's see if I can erase that, or you could put it out here, the 1. It's kind of up to you. I'll just leave it there since I don't want to go back and erase all of that. So for the sake of speed, the square root of 9 is 3. And 3 to the power of 1, well, that's just 3. So for that question, the answer is 3, and we already saw that our calculator verified that. So when you have a rational exponent, what's really happening is you're having to write a radical sign, and then depending on what's in the bottom here, it's going to slide out and go in front. And it's not always a 2. In fact, a 2 is so common with a radical sign, we call it the square root sign. But technically, this sign here, that sign, is not really a square root sign necessarily. It could be a cube root sign if you put a little 3 there, or if you put a 4 there, it would be a fourth root sign. It changes depending on what number goes there. When there's no number at all, we assume that there is a 2 there. And so we call this the square root sign. Okay, so that's something that you may not have known. Okay, so look at this question, 4 to the power of 3 over 2. Well, you could just do it on your calculator and find out the answer. In fact, maybe I'll do that just to show you. 4 to the power of, and I'm going to put it in brackets. Do we have brackets? Yes, we do. 3 divided by 2, which is really 1.5, but okay, so 4 to the power of 1.5 or 3 over 2. You get 8 as an answer. That's pretty weird, isn't it? Well, let's check it out. You write the 4 down if you want. That might be the best first step. Take the base, write it down. The 4 is called the base, and then the 3 over 2 is called the exponent. And it's a rational exponent, in case I didn't say that before. Anyway, so what goes out in front? Well, remember, I pretend it's slippery, and the 2 slips out in front, and the 3 goes up here. You know you can do it the other way, where you can go 4 to the power of 3 and then take the square root of your answer. That's also totally acceptable. I'm just doing it this way for the sake of being consistent, okay? So the square root of 4 is 2, okay? The square root of 4 is 2. But then we have 2 to the power of 3, which really means 2 times 2 times 2, which is equal to 8. And I think you just saw that our calculator also agreed with that. Okay, let's try another one. 9 to the power of negative 1/2. Okay, this question was put in here on purpose because of the negative exponent. If you remember, there are other videos that I have on zero and negative exponents that tell us that to make an exponent positive, what you do, if you had a situation like this, you would take that 9 and you'd move it to the denominator of a fraction. You would move it to the denominator, put a 1 on top, and the 1/2 becomes positive. If you're totally flabbergasted by this, watch the video on zero and negative exponents, okay? Anyway, so let's carry on. So we have 1 over 9 to the power of 1/2. Well, we still need to deal with this 1/2 here, and we know how to do that now. we just go 1 over the square root of 9, and the 2 slipped out in front, and the 1 went right there, which really doesn't change anything, that 1. So the final answer is going to be 1 over, what's the square root of 9? It's 3. 3 to the power of 1 is still 3. We're going to have 1/3 as our answer. Okay? And once again, you could put it on the calculator. 9 to the power of 0.5, but it's a negative 0.5. And you should get 1/3, which is 0.33333 forever, as you can see. All right. Let's do this question here before we go to one more tougher question on the back side of this, or on the second page. 8 to the power of negative 2/3. Okay. So remember, to make the 2/3 positive, you move it to the denominator. So you move 8 and the 2/3 to the denominator. The 2/3 becomes positive. Then you got to deal with the rational exponent. So I'm going to write 8 there. Now be careful, every single time so far, we've had 2 in front there. Okay, I think that's called the index there or something, but I'm not exactly sure. I don't use that language very often. But I'm going to take the 3 and I'm going to put it right here. And I'm going to square this. Okay, so let's do a little math. This one's actually, oh yes. Can you tell me what times what times what is 8? Because that would be the cube root of 8. And you can use your calculator if you want to do the cube root. Let's see if we can do the cube root of 8 here. Does this calculator allow the cube root of 8? Maybe this button right here would do it. 8. Yep. The cube root of 8 is 2. Okay, because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. And then so the cube root of 8 is 2 right here, but it's to the power of 2, so you get 4. Should we verify this on the calculator? 8 to the power of 2 divided by 3. I think it was a negative. There we go. Equals 0.25. Sure enough, 0.25 and a quarter are the same thing. You knew that. Okay, let's turn the page, because I think it says, and one tougher question. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so for this question here, you may have heard of shower power, which is when you have an exponent and it has to go and meet everybody on the inside. Okay, it goes to meet the 8, the 6, and the 3, or sorry, the b to the 6th and c to the power of 3. The 1/3 is going to go meet everybody, okay? So negative 8 to the 1/3, and then we have b to the 6th, and I'm going to put it in brackets because we're doing the 1/3 as well here. And the 1/3 also is going to come hang out with the c cubed here. All right, so the 1/3 is no longer out here. It's gone inside to meet everybody, okay? I'm leaving this negative sign in the front here, and I'm going to write down the 8, and I'm going to remember the 3 slips out in front, and the 1, well, the 1 doesn't change anything, but I'm just showing you. Okay, now, what do you do for the next one? It's b to the power of 6 to the power of 1/3. Well, the exponent laws tell us that when you have an exponent and then another exponent, you multiply these two. So it's like saying 6 times 1/3, okay? So 6 times 1/3 is really 6 over 3. And 6 over 3 is really just 2. And I'm going to put it at 2 there, okay? This one's going to work out nicely as well. We've got c to the power of 3 times, we're going to multiply by the 1/3. So what's 3 times 1/3? Well, that's 3 over 3. 3 over 3 is really just 1. So really all we have really that's more difficult to deal with is this right here. It's not that difficult actually. So negative, what's the cube root of 8? We already know it's 2. 2 to the power of 1 is just 2. So we found that answer. We have b squared beside it, and we have c to the power of 1, which is not necessary. So really, this answer right here is just fine. Okay? That's all we really need. And that also is all we really need for this video. Thank you.